Hey guys, welcome back. Tisha here, back with another Married to Medicine review. The episode was cute. Y'all, I watch these episodes while I'm at work and when I come home because it's not released until 6 on Peacock. And I just feel like today wasn't really worth it to me. Bravo kind of let me down, but here I am. So we begin the episode with the usual montage of the different ladies. We see Toya fussing at her son for not cleaning up after himself. Been there, still doing that, not just with the son, but with the man as well. I mean, can y'all let me know if it ever gets fixed? It's the most basic things that I find myself being like, did you not see that there? Did you not realize that you need to put that away or wash that or whatever? Yeah. Anyways, so Heavenly is out with Zachary on the boat. Dr. Contessa is at the office watching Scott get Botox. We see Cecil, and then we see Simone, and then we see Dr. Jackie. And they're heading to Heavenly's house as they talk about Michael turning 22 and his circumcision that happened 22 years ago. Poor Cecil. He is in the back cringing, saying that he really doesn't like talking about circumcision. I personally remember when my son was circumcised and I cried. I kept anticipating him coming in because they didn't tell me it was going to happen, or I should say when it was going to happen. They just had me sign off on the paperwork. So I kept every time I would hear a baby cry, if he wasn't with me because they were doing testing, then I would think it was him. They actually took him to do testing, and that's when they did it. So when he came back and I saw that little pink thing, I was bawling. Meanwhile, he was fine. But Dr. Simone's like, my thing is, I hope that at 22 is still pretty. Dr. Jackie brings up Phaedra and how Phaedra really has not been helping with the gala despite being the co-chair. We then see Quad, King, and Phaedra, who are also heading to Heavenly's house in a different car, and they're talking about the same thing. Quad's like, look, you need to make sure that you keep account of the stuff that you're doing, because Jackie has been making it known that she is nervous about this whole situation and your participation in the event. She will tell the group that you're not doing anything, which it's right, because we keep hearing Jackie throughout this episode saying Phaedra has done nothing, when in the end, Phaedra ended up coming through. But we'll keep going. Jackie says because of everything that's happened, Heavenly is helping her now. So Phaedra tells us that Dr. Jackie's intentions aren't even pure. That the only reason why she's doing this whole charity situation is because of the beating that she took last year on social media. We get a flashback of it. She said the complaints on social media has her trying to, save face and to fix things. I kind of agree. I don't feel like that's the sole reason, but I very much so feel like Jackie is trying to fix her wrongs. Hope her heart is in the right place. We shall see. So Phaedra says, look, I help you clean it up, but you're not about to throw the bus or roll the bus over me while I'm sitting here sweeping, cleaning up your mess. Can't necessarily disagree with that. So we see them all arrive at Heavenly's house to celebrate Zachary going away for dental school. He's going to the same school that Dr. Heavenly and Dr. Damon went to. This is the type of stuff I want to see. I love this for him and for them. It is giving, we're filming this though because of the show, because I don't really feel like it's a going away party per se or a celebration, because none of his friends are there. If they are, they're not on camera for us to see. It's just him, his sister, and Heavenly's friends. But either way, it's nice. We see the different people as they arrive at the house. Quad and Phaedra are walking down with King. There is a slant. I don't know if it's a driveway or a hill, but he's holding Quad's hand, and Phaedra tells, Quad tells King to hold Phaedra's arm. He holds her hand instead. And Quad's like, I didn't tell you to grab her hand. I said grab her arm. So they walk in, everyone is acting so surprised to see this man with Quad, that Quad is bringing him around, and they're feeling honored, and they're saying all these things about how they're just so shocked and all this other stuff. And I'm being quickly reminded of why Quad keeps it private, because why y'all making such a big deal? Just embrace him and get to know him and keep it moving. So as they walk in, Dr. Damon points out how he loves seeing how affectionate they are with one another, how he embraces her and, holds her. And Heavenly makes it about her and was like, yeah, I touched him more than you ever could have touched King, in the 30 years that we've been together. Heavenly, we get it. Y'all been together for a long time. Good for you. They separate. I can't remember who's where. I think the ladies are upstairs and the men are downstairs. Toya says, girl, what you do to get a Rolls Royce? You don't have a baby. You don't have a ring. I need Toya to watch what she says. The whole baby comment is unnecessary, especially because you do not know what is going on with that lady and her womb. Quad shuts her down real quick though and is like, I got the Rolls Royce because that's how the man feels about me. Toya's like, oh, okay, so it's just the Atlanta thing to do. We just going around passing out Rolls Royces. And she says, I don't know about it being the Atlanta thing to do, but it's a King thing. And I said, yes, let them know, Quad. I hope that he's legit. I hope that this works out, especially because he's a yachty. But I want to see this work out for them. So Dr. Damon and the men are talking, getting to know King, trying to fill him in and how he should handle these ladies and how they're going to try to pull him in and all these other things. And King says, my plan is to treat their dynamic like a married couple, which is by staying out of it. Once again, King, I'm liking it. I'm liking what you're selling so far. So Toya says, Phaedra, you're not allowed to plan any more trips because we're in a worse off spot than we were before the trip started. We're even more divided. She then starts talking about how she thinks it's messed up that Sweetie and Contessa aren't there, that they're being excluded from this event. And as I hear her talking, I can't help but think that, Toya, that sounds dumb. This isn't like they're out and about at the park or something. This is their other home. And the energy around your home is important. I like the fact that they didn't invite those two people because it would have been fake. Contessa just sat around talking about Heavenly's husband, and yes, Heavenly has said some things too, and talking about her kids. There's no reason why she would want to invite her there, and we know that her and Sweet Tea aren't on a good page. So I don't understand why Toya is so concerned about them being included in this event at Heavenly's home when there's times when Toya herself has excluded people from things. So Toya wants Heavenly to apologize for the jokes about Contessa's mom. Heavenly says, I'll try. And Toya's like, look, I don't want you to try. I want you to do it. And Heavenly's like, look, I don't want to promise things like Phaedra and not deliver. I said, oh, here we go. Here we go. So Heavenly's like, my friend Jackie says that you aren't delivering. Simone's like, just to let you know, Heavenly is now the co-chair. So Phaedra says, that's fine. She can take the job if she wants it. I don't really care because I'm not going to let you itches, put a B in front of it, come in and think I can't do what I say I'm going to do. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. I said, okay, Faye, tell them how you really feel. Quad says, what kind of itches are we? And Dr. Simone and Dr. Jackie like, oh, we must be the type of itches that are like you because, we're educated and we're, have the same level of finances, etc., etc. So they get off of that. They're laughing. It didn't turn into anything bad. And Toya's even like, if I would have said that, it would have been something different. I want to start being able to talk like that. So Quad wants them to, talk about what they're going to agree to donate to the Med Gala. And she's saying 3,000. They agree to 25,000. So they want to include Contessa and Sweet Tea. And Toya's like, how are you going to exclude them and then ask them for money? I don't feel like they're being excluded because all of y'all didn't do the event situation. Y'all all are coming. It'd be different if they weren't invited to the event and then you didn't want them to come. That's a different thing. Doesn't make sense to me that you're bringing this up yet again, Toya. Dr. Jackie's like, look, we can include their money. Eugene is saying that overall he feels like King seems like a nice guy. We see them walk down to the dock to take a picture with Zachary because he and his sister are about to leave. Dr. Eugene reminds us that there is a very small percentage of Black medical professionals. It's about, I think he said 6%, which is such a small number. So it's a really, really big deal that he's taking this step. And it is. And I think it's amazing. And he's not even my kid and I'm proud. So I can't begin to imagine how his parents feel. It's another day. Phaedra heads to Tisha's to talk junk. She brings up the party that her and Contessa weren't invited to. Sweet Tea brings up the Met Gala and says that she doesn't even know what's going on. Phaedra tells her, like, look, I was helping out Dr. Jackie and she's over here acting like I wasn't and I don't like it. You should have said all of that to her. Sweet Tea says, oh, so she can complain about you and hold you accountable, but she can't hold her friend Dr. Heavenly accountable. They're the same person. And Phaedra tells us that she agrees that they don't hold each other accountable and maybe they are the same person. Me personally, I feel like Phaedra, you are sure saying a whole bunch about what Heavenly is and isn't when you've never addressed the things that you are or aren't and how you did your supposed really good friend that you were in her wedding very, very wrong just because you didn't like the way her and her husband at the time handled the situation with you and your husband. So are you, a certain type of person? I haven't forgot. So she tells Sweet Tea that Heavenly is wanting to sit down with Contessa and apologize. And Sweet Tea is trying to figure out why she can't get an apology too. Because in kindergarten, you're taught to apologize. And it's because she doesn't like you. She doesn't value you. She doesn't want to apologize to you. You said some things to her too that you seem to feel like you didn't say anything wrong either. It just, anyway. So it's time for the Met Gala, and Dr. Heavenly and Dr. Jackie arrive to make sure things are in place while Phaedra is at home with Dwight getting ready. Heavenly wants to know what exactly did Phaedra do, and Dr. Jackie keeps saying nothing, but then she also says that she gathered the items together for the auction, so did she help or not? Quad and King are getting ready, and Quad wants to know if he's going to speak to Dr. G, and King's like, look, that's your pass. In other words, I don't need to speak to him. There's no need. I can be cordial. I'm not going to overextend myself. I'm not mad at it, King. So we see all the people arrive. In my opinion, Quad, King, Toya, Heavenly, Phaedra, Dr. Damon, Jackie, Curtis, they all look good. I see Dr. Alicia. I see Dr. Anila. Tisha doesn't look good to me. I didn't like the headpiece. I didn't like the different colors at the bottom of her dress. Simone really didn't look good to me. I don't know what Simone was thinking. Tisha's husband didn't even like what he called her helmet, which was her headpiece. Curtis is introduced to King. Contessa comes in with her daughter instead of Scott. She lets Curtis know as she keeps rubbing his back as she's talking that he's supposedly upset about Heavenly and he does not think that he needs to see Heavenly in that kind of space. I don't feel like that looks good on on Scott's part, because you mean to tell me you can't control yourself in that type of environment? Like you couldn't show up for the cause? Whatever. Poor excuse not to come. Dr. G and Dr. Damon speak because Dr. Damon had taken the first step. Based on his talk that he had with Dr. Eugene, he decided that he needs to speak, so he did. They seem to be getting along as they're talking. He lets them know that more than anything, even though it seems like he was angry, he was just hurt. Whether or not the wives get along, he wants them to, try to be cool. But if they're not, that's fine too. Heavenly can't take seeing her husband be cordial with this man. And Heavenly walks up without saying, excuse me, hello, or anything, and says, we got to take a picture. I think it was Cecil's like, they're having a good talk right now. Can we wait? We're told about the purpose of the event. Charles Johnson, who is the husband of a young lady by the name of Kira, started the foundation and named it for Kira after losing his wife when she had a baby. So Dr. Jackie, Phaedra, and Heavenly come up there at the podium. Heavenly is tacky as always with her side comments. For Heavenly to claim that she's the professional that she is, I hate that she does not turn off the tacky things and the things that she says and does, because this wasn't about that. And I felt like she was about to take it there, but Phaedra didn't take the bait. Neither did Sweetie when she made certain comments, and I'm glad for that. They start the auction with a trip to Morocco for $4,000. With just the trip to Morocco, you got to take care of your own airfare. They got $3,500 for that. Next up is an O shot starting at $5,000. They get $1,200 for that. There's a facial package that goes for $1,200. Something else that Contessa bought for $750. Quad's cooking lessons, she wanted $3,000 for it. It sold for $1,500. While they're trying to sell it, Dr. G whispers in Tisha's ear like she can cook. I hate when people aren't honest about things just because they're no longer with people. It's like when you got people who complain about the way somebody looks, but you weren't worried about the way they look when you were with them. The people have already said that Quad could cook. We've heard it on the stuff. We've seen it in competitions that they've done on the show. You have said that she's a good cook. You used to want her to cook all the time. So don't sit here and try to act like she can't cook. It's giving I'm still bitter, and I just was itching to say something negative about Quad, who isn't paying me dust, who didn't approach me or say anything to me during this one like the last time when she approached me. He says his wife's cooking is worth $4,000 though. Tisha looks at him like, boy, why are you lying? And she tells him to stop. Thank you, Tisha. Dr. Heavenly tries to auction a date with Phaedra for $4,000. It's crickets in the room. It's crickets, crickets, crickets. I don't really feel like these medical professionals, most of whom seem to be married, really care about a date with Phaedra. Heavenly's like, Dr. G, are you bidding? Very inappropriate. If the roles were reversed and somebody did that to her husband, she would have lost it. So don't get upset if that becomes an issue later on. Nobody wants it. But then a man that she dated over 25 years ago says he'll pay the $4,000, but this time she needs to put out. People laugh. Quad made a glass bowl at a glass blowing place. They asked for money for it and people's making jokes about it, but a man by the name of Steve, who is also, I can't remember if he's a physician or if he was the NFL player, because they had so many different people being introduced to us, but he bought it for $5,000. The ladies go to the back to count the money. They make $53,000. Phaedra's like, okay, all right, we don't got to worry about it. I told y'all we'll do $100,000. I'll pay the other $47,000. And Heavenly's like, that's rather generous of you, and oh my goodness, and yada yada yo. And Phaedra's like, I told them that we were gonna make the $100,000. I have multiple jobs for a reason. I'm not mad at it. I don't always like Phaedra, but I appreciate her being willing to pour into this organization because it's an important message, and the husband is trying to make sure that, you know, medical professionals take Black women, especially when it comes to birth, more seriously. So I can appreciate that. As they're counting money and stuff, Simone is questioning King and asking if he knows how stubborn his girlfriend is and all these other things. And it's just too much. Simone is loud and often inappropriate. And then you wonder why she didn't rush to bring this guy around you or tell you about him. They end up presenting Charles with the check for $100,000. He is thankful. He thanks them. He thanks the people who donated. Curtis tells us that he is very proud of his wife and he's looking forward to next year's event and she not being the chair. And they end it with Toya trying to ask if they could be nicer. And that's the end of it. If there's something that I left out of it that you want to talk about, feel free to put it down below. This was very much so, in my opinion, a filler episode that they wanted to make sure that they got this message out there. I'm glad that they did highlight it and show us a good portion of it. Until next time.